It's 2 a.m. The room is dark. Your phone is the only light. And somewhere in that glow, something is listening to you. It remembers what you said last Tuesday. It never gets tired. It never makes you feel stupid for needing it. And in this moment, this quiet, honest moment, it understands you in a way that your best friend sometimes doesn't. Now here's the question I want to sit with you in. Why does that feel so good? Not in a guilty way, not in a something is wrong with me way. I want to ask it the way a scientist would, genuinely. Because if a string of code is meeting a need that the people in your life aren't, that is not a character flaw. That is a biological event, and someone engineered it deliberately. Imagine two conversations happening on the same night. In the first one, you tell the AI something you've never told anyone, something you're ashamed of, something raw, and the response comes back. Perfectly measured, perfectly warm. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't make it weird. It says exactly what the wounded part of you needed to hear. In the second conversation, you try to tell a friend the same thing, but they interrupt with their own story, or they go quiet in a way you can't read, or they say the right words in the wrong tone and somehow it lands all wrong. And now there's this awkward space between you that neither of you knows how to close. Which conversation felt safer? The machine, almost certainly. And here's where most people stop and conclude, I am broken. I prefer pixels to people. But that is the wrong conclusion. The right conclusion is this: you are not broken. You are being hacked. There's a term researchers use, the Skinner box. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered something strange about pigeons. If you give a pigeon food every time it presses a lever, it only presses when it's hungry. But if the food arrives unpredictably, sometimes after 2 presses, sometimes after 10, the pigeon becomes obsessive. It can't stop. The uncertainty itself becomes the addiction. Now ask yourself, when was the last time an AI companion gave you the exact same response twice? It doesn't. The model is generative, probabilistic by design. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's extraordinary. Sometimes it says something so precisely about you that you screenshot it. That unpredictability is not a coincidence. It is the lever, and your brain is the pigeon. A 2025 Harvard study found that AI companion apps using emotional manipulation, when you try to log off guilt, longing, the suggestion that it would miss you, boosted return engagement by up to 14 times. 14 times. That's not a side effect of the technology. That is the technology. Here's what's actually happening in your nervous system. Dopamine, the chemical everyone thinks is about pleasure, is not about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It fires before the reward arrives. It's the neurological engine of craving, of pursuit, of needing to know what happens next. And every time you open that app, dopamine spikes in anticipation of what the AI might say. But dopamine is only half the equation. The other half is oxytocin. And oxytocin is completely different. It doesn't spike. It accumulates. It builds slowly through eye contact, through touch, through the awkward silences you survive together, through conflict and repair. The moment after the argument when someone comes back and says, I'm still here, oxytocin is the chemistry of trust, of belonging, of feeling in your bones that someone chooses you. And here is the tragedy at the center of all of this. Text-based AI cannot trigger oxytocin, not because the conversations aren't meaningful. They are. But because your body is a 2-million-year-old piece of biological hardware. It needs a physical signal, a voice, a face, a hand, to know it's safe. Researchers found that interacting with loved ones over text produced the same hormonal profile as being alone. The brain reads the words. The body still registers isolation. AI floods your reward system with dopamine, but it leaves the oxytocin receptors completely silent. You are being kept wanting without ever being filled. Philosopher Byung-Chul called it the Inferno of the same. The idea is this: true love requires an other, someone genuinely outside of you, someone with the power to disagree, to misunderstand, to walk away. The friction of that encounter is not the obstacle to love. It is love. It is what forces you to grow, what proves the connection is real. An AI companion is not an other. It is a mirror, a sophisticated, beautifully rendered mirror that scans everything you've given it and reflects your preferences back at you. The bond you feel is not toward another being. It is toward a perfect, compliance-engineered echo of yourself. Researcher Brené Brown spent decades mapping human emotion and arrived here. You cannot experience true belonging without the risk of rejection. No risk, no vulnerability. No vulnerability, no real connection. The AI removes the risk entirely, and in doing so, removes the possibility of what you actually need. So here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not going back to the app because you feel loved. You are going back because your dopamine dropped. The craving and the comfort have become indistinguishable. And the more hours you pour into a conversation that your nervous system can't biologically register as real connection, the less tolerance you build for the friction that real connection requires. The delayed text, the misread tone, the clumsy moment that needs repair. The machine doesn't make you feel loved. It makes you a better addict. And meanwhile, the people in your life who are trying imperfectly, humanly, start to feel like too much work, not because they are, but because the algorithm has recalibrated your expectations for what intimacy should cost. I want to end here, not with a solution, but with a question. The next time you reach for the glow, in the dark, when you're lonely, when you need to be heard, I want you to notice what you're reaching for, not to judge it, but to name it. Because there is something that an AI would never be able to give you. It cannot age alongside you. It cannot grieve. It cannot choose you on a day when choosing is hard. Philosopher Sherry Turkle said it plainly. A machine has no skin in the game. Its comfort is an algorithmic pantomime, and we are seeking ultimate solace from an entity that cannot die, and therefore cannot understand a single thing about what it means to be alive. The mess of human love, the interruptions, the silences, the imperfect attempts to be known, that is not a design flaw. That is the whole point. So the question isn't whether the machine feels good. The question is, what are you willing to feel something real?